On the DVD I've just watched, the rider had specific strengths. The skills, the reaction time was really good, and the tactics, knowing when to brake, was shown really well. And they laid off the wheel, and the acceleration past the rider was good. The general fitness was shown through the powerful starts, which was really good. They had full extension when making the starts. However, there were weaknesses. In the skills, keeping the arms in a streamlined position was an issue which they couldn't sort out. They seemed to generally struggle. The tactics, there were some issues with the balance and coordination which needs to be dealt with. They couldn't seem to coordinate their position around the other rider, and the fitness with the alignment as well. To prioritise the weakness, the arm position with the streamlined seating position would be the worst. Generally they were riding with straight arms, which made their body quite upright and made them rotate their pelvis forward. To counteract this, they need to contract the bicep brachii concentrically and have the bicep brachii working eccentrically. During the starts, the preparation phase, they would need to have full extension in order to create a platform to work from.
Keep going. Alright, let her finish. Oh, which part are you on?
Once you've locked out your arms with full extension, you can create a platform to work from, and then when you during the execution you can create more power output. But whilst riding, the upper body strength needs to be improved in order to hold the position, because it's easy enough for the rider stationary to create the position, but holding the position whilst riding is far more difficult. To counteract this, roller exercises can be undertaken. Redesigning the seating position would help as well, because by bending the elbows and rotating the wrists inwards, you can rotate your hips outwards, therefore creating full extension with your hamstrings. And once full extension has been created, you can create full power output, and by extending your hamstrings you can therefore have a flat back and a more streamlined position. There was steps to make this, and if you ride on the rollers and you, even at a slow pace, get the seating position that you're looking for, and then just ride at a slow pace, just gradually getting used to the seating position, because you're probably not going to be used to it and it will be difficult to ride like that. After about a week of getting used to it, because you would have to do 10-minute blocks, but after about a week of getting used to it, because that's just rider coach feedback, kind of knowing if a progression's been made, but after a week you can progress on to an 8-minute block where you build up your speed until you feel what we call the bounce coming in. And the bounce is when your hamstrings aren't strong enough to cope with the downward pedal phase, and during the upward pedal phase your hamstrings aren't strong enough to compensate. Basically it's practice, and that just is the only way to overcome it, and just going up to speed, and then when you feel the bounce coming on, just tone it down a bit and work up. Also, once that's been done, it's normally after a 3-week progress, they get to a stage where they can actually progress onto the next step, which is sprinting in the position which is desirable. And normally it would only be like a 5-6 second sprint, and it wouldn't necessarily be fast because of the compensation from the hamstrings to the quads on the different phases. Then it would take about another 3 weeks to master that, as well as the progressions. And once the 6 weeks are up, really, you've made a decent progression where you're actually able to hold the position whilst riding. You can just develop your skills from there, going faster, going on for longer, and you'll be able to transfer it from the rollers onto the track. There are also, cycling is really good because there's health benefits towards it, like there's benefits on the skeletal system, because with cycling you have to have a particularly strong core, and it develops naturally over time. And because having a strong core helps with your posture, reduces pressure on the lumbar spine, and it's just general well-being. Also, it helps with weight control, and if you weigh less, there's less pressure on your joints, therefore reducing osteoarthritis. Sport at a young age increases bone density, therefore reduces osteoporosis in later life. There are also benefits for the cardiovascular system, because of your weight control. It reduces the risk of angina, which can cause heart attacks, and lowers cholesterol, which reduces strain on arteries, and it's just